Moody Institute of Science Educational Film Division presents This Lamp. Wait. The Wonder of Water. If you're wondering what water is wondering, then wonder no more. From the Wonder World series, if you're wondering what the world... Yeah, you get the joke. Dear Diary, I wonder why people hate Twilight so much. It's such a masterpiece.
May we please have a drink of water, Uncle Bob?
You certainly may. That's one thing I have plenty of. Help yourself.
Not that one, kids. That's the
Plenty for
vodka.
everybody. Well, what's this, the seventh inning stretch?
No, we were just practicing.
Boy, this water sure tastes good. Boy, nothing like water when you're thirsty.
But
Oh,
beer
you're
is
so right,
better.
Mike. You know, man can add all sorts of things to water to make it taste differently and have pretty colors. But when you're really thirsty, boy, you'll choose just plain old water. Say, by the way, do you fellas know what water's made of?
Is it made out of
What do you
wet
mean,
stuff?
made of? You mean water's made out of something else?
It is that. What do you think water is?
Water is
Thought
wet.
water was
Duh.
water. Yeah, just plain H2O.
Ah, there you are, Ted. Okay, now what do you mean by just H2O?
If you can't answer that correctly, you failed at life.
It's water, isn't it?
I guess H2O has become sort of a slang expression meaning water.
With other
But
slang like
actually,
wiggity whack and
H2O is the
orale.
chemical formula for water. But why do we use the letters H and O with a little 2 in the middle?
Because the number 2 is pretty slutty when it's in the middle of a hoe sandwich.
Why don't I laugh
Haha,
for a
thank
few
you very
seconds and
much.
We'll do some detective work and solve the mystery of why we call this H2O. I'm going to need a fresh supply of Exhibit A.
My detective work involves alcohol, but these kids are too hardcore for that.
Go ahead in, fellas. All right, now you fellas just gather around the bench here while I go back and get the electrolysis equipment.
The what?
You dumb bastard.
Electrolysis equipment, Ted. That's what we call this glass apparatus that we're going to use to perform the experiment.
It could also be used as a
Now, need
bong.
some Power. Bobby, over by the radios on the back shelf, you'll find a Super B battery. It has some leads attached to the top terminals. Would you get it for me, please?
The one attached to the dead body.
Now, I'll add some more water.
A very delicate procedure where everyone has to stay quiet. It could mean the difference between life and death.
There.
Now I'll show you how to pack a bowl.
Yeah, that's it, Bobby. Fine, thank you. Okay, now, fellas, I want you to watch these little platinum electrodes in here very, very closely. Because when I attach the battery, the current will flow through the water.
Zzz, ow! Son of a
You'll see
bitch!
something very, very special start to happen.
Yeah, look at them.
Right. Little bubbles are starting to form.
Where'd the bubbles come from?
Tonight we find out where the bubbles came from on an episode of A Sick Sad World.
Now notice that the water level is going down in the tubes. As the bubbles continue to appear, the water disappears.
Worst magic trick
What do you
ever.
think that means? Well, this may come as a big surprise to you, but the electric current running through the water is breaking the water down into the two things from which it's made.
Wow, that did come as a
In
surprise
other
to
words,
me.
the water is being taken apart, and we're left with the two elements which used to be the water, two gases.
Pausing for effect.
Now, the bubbles of one gas collect in the top of this tube, and the bubbles of the other gas collect over here.
Ooh, how
So you
weird.
see, fellas, water is really just a combination of two different gases.
Wow.
Two different gases?
What is this couple of gases that are put together?
Right, Bobby, that's it. But those gases must be put together in just exactly the right proportion. Now look at these tubes again.
Look at
Do you
him.
notice any difference between them?
Yeah, there's more water in one tube than there is in the other.
Right you are, Ted.
Here's a popsicle.
That means there's more gas forming in the top of this tube.
More gas than a truck driver eating a bean
You notice there's
burrito.
twice as much gas in this as there is in the other one.
But how do you know which gas is which?
Now, that's a good question, Melvin. Let's make a few tests, huh? Now, first of all, we'll let the gas out of this tube and see what happens. There, you see? how that burns with a light blue flame?
With the film being sepia tone, you could definitely tell that's a blue flame.
We know that hydrogen burns with an almost invisible blue flame. Therefore, this is hydrogen. All right, now let's test the gas in the other tube.
I knew he was a pothead. It all makes sense. The science thingy that looks like a bong. He finds water fascinating. Later, he's going to have a sudden case of the munchies.
There. You see how that spark on the end of this piece of wood burst into flame and burns very fast?
Yeah.
No. I mean, yes.
That's because that spark has come in contact with oxygen. Now, oxygen itself doesn't burn. However, it enables other things to burn. So, by this experiment, we know that water is made up of two gases, hydrogen and oxygen. Now,
They had to get a small blackboard. Damn recession!
chemical symbol for hydrogen is the letter H.
Ah, so that's what the H looks like.
And to represent oxygen, the letter O is used.
And that's how a pimp gets his money. But that's another lesson.
What does the little 2 mean?
All right, remember that we decided that there was twice as much of one gas as there is of the other?
When did we decide that?
Remember which one?
Well, this would have twice as much gas in it.
Uh-huh. And do you remember what happened with this tube?
It's hydrogen.
Well,
It's hydrogen.
it had a blue flame on the
It's
top.
hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen, right.
Ah, I knew you weren't dumber than that
As
bag
there
of
is
rocks.
oxygen. And in order to represent that in our chemical formula, we use the little number 2. H2O. In other words, 2 parts of hydrogen combining with 1 part of oxygen
Tic-tac-toe, I win.
makes up the wonderful substance we know as water.
How about that? We use water to put out fire, but it's made from 2 gases which burn like crazy.
Isn't that
Well,
ironic?
almost, Mike.
Don't you think?
Remember that oxygen just helps other things burn. No, water is a very remarkable liquid.
So remarkable,
All right.
I want to marry it.
And you know, water is a wonderful example of the Creator's great wisdom and careful planning. And the ways in which our water supplies are regulated and maintained is another remarkable story.
See, there was this guy named Moses.
You see, about 3/4 of the entire surface of the earth is covered with water. The rivers and the lakes and the oceans and the streams.
The rest is made out of
But
chocolate.
as you know, the snowflakes and the raindrops that are formed in the clouds above the earth are
Oh
formed
God,
from
if I
water
see
that
Bella
is in
and
the
Edward
air.
anywhere in this scene, I'm leaving.
Rising from the surface of the oceans and lakes and rivers and streams are tiny particles of water, which usually are so small that you can't see them. Water in this form is called vapor. And the process by which water changes from a
And we're
liquid
throwing
to
some
vapor
happy
is known
trees in
as
there.
evaporation. Sometimes, however, this water in the air can be seen. And these particles are now droplets of mist. But whether you can see it or not,
Man, this
There's
guy really
always
loves
water in
water,
the air.
doesn't he?
and under the right conditions, the water vapor will turn into a liquid. You can see evidence of this on a blade of grass or the petals of a flower. It all depends on the temperature and the amount of water in the air. The process of changing vapor to liquid is called condensation. The same
Condensation.
thing is happening up in the sky. when
Hey,
the
I see
clouds
Jack
form.
Nicholson and Morgan Freeman.
As the warm, moist air rises,
Ooh, I
it
see a birdie.
begins to cool.
And I see a
And the
bunny
water
right
vapor in the air
there.
condenses into little drops of water. As the wind moves
And I see
the
a dragon
clouds
doing a
along,
tap dance
drops
while wearing a
of water
bikini.
grow bigger until they become too heavy to stay in the air any longer. And down they come as raindrops.
Blame it on the rain.
Or when the conditions are
Yeah,
just right,
yeah.
snowflakes are formed which fall silently to the earth, where they remain until the warm rays of the sun cause the snow to melt. Little drops of water form rivulets.
I don't know
The water
about you,
pours
but I
into
have a
streams
strong
that go
sudden
rushing
urge
and
to want to go
tumbling
to
down
the
the hillside.
bathroom. The urge is
Finally,
rising.
the water is sent
rising,
splashing into irrigation
rising.
ditches
Oh,
where
crap,
it
now I have to
bubbles
go.
out to soak deeply into the ground. Here it is taken in by the roots of thirsty plants. Plants that bring forth blossoms and fruit of every kind.
Wow, and I thought plants drank Gatorade this whole time.
The
It has
water
electrolytes.
freshens the barren earth, changing it into a land of plenty. Another way in which water serves our need is power.
The power to take over the
Olden
world?
times, water was used to turn water wheels to grind the grain and cut the lumber.
Oh, I guess not.
Today, the old water wheel is gone. But the power is still there, turning modern water wheels.
Well, I'll be damned.
Huge turbo generators that change that water power into electrical energy.
Man, I
Energy
could just
sent
imagine
along
these
wires
kids
to
just
places
sleeping
where
on their
man
desk,
puts it to
drooling all
work
over their homework while this
thousands of
guy's
different
talking
ways
about
every day.
water. Yeah, now I remember
And
why I
the day
skipped
is
school
over.
all the time.
The power from the water lights our homes and our cities.
You know, I never thought about water that way before.
And I thought water was a dirty whore this whole time.
Yes, I guess most of us never stop to realize what God has done for us by giving us water.
God give us water. That's
We don't
crazy
appreciate
talk.
how much this common, ordinary substance means to us. We're so used to it, we just take it for granted. But it helps grow the food we eat.
Oops,
provides
oh man, I was
electricity
dreaming
and
about this
steam
guy. He was
power.
talking about water. Oh crap, he's still going, isn't he?
We use it to keep things clean. We boil things in it to sterilize them and prevent disease. We drink it.
We use it in the wet t-shirt contest too.
We skate on it. And we swim in it.
Sometimes we pee as we swim in it.
We make snowballs out of it. We use it for cooking.
And this
And
whole
we
time
keep
I thought
things
Billy
cold.
Mays was the best salesman in the world,
Yes,
but this
water
guy,
is
this
essential
guy
to
knows
all
how to
life.
sell water.
Without it, there would be no grass, or trees, or any living thing. For without water, you and I wouldn't be alive right now. You know, it makes a person feel very, very grateful for water.
And if water was a woman, I would totally make out with it.
Invisible gases, combined in just exactly the right way to give us this wonderful, life-giving liquid. Just plain old H2O.
Wow, who knew that wonders of water can be so wondrous? Damn it, thinking about water has made me wet myself. Good night, everybody.